Hello everyone, Dex here, welcome to episode 111 of S02 Let's Play. So, after the ending of the last episode, I've been tracking a little bit my LV right here, and it wasn't successful for 2 additional cycles. So I tried removing the frame housing. I don't know really, but I think it may have something to do with it. Maybe it was interrupting it, maybe it wasn't, I don't know. And I'm also going to try using uranium instead of nether star, see how that turns out. And no, it didn't turn out. Yeah. So I don't know what's really the problem here. Maybe the frugal bee that I'm trying to breed cannot be bred on the overworld, maybe only in the nether. Maybe something here is wrong. I'm not really sure. I'm going to give it a couple more tries, see how that works out. Maybe it is a bee that can only be bred in the nether. I don't really know, but we'll see. Alright, so in the previous episode I've been collecting some quartz while playing, so I've got a nice amount of quartz right now. So finally it's time to get to some applied energistics crafting. Now, applied energistics crafting can be done in multiple ways. For example, like what I did, it's not this. I don't think it's really designed to be working like this, but just what I did right here, for example, where I created those patterns saying that if you give me one thing, you'll get another thing, and then it simply outputs into the nearby inventories, specifically a furnace, smelts whatever it's needed, and it can work. However, you can actually do the same thing, for example, using fabricators. In the right setup, you could tell that to send 8 cobblestone, for example, the fabricator will have the furnace recipe ready to be made, and then an export bus will be filtering out all the furnaces. And that's kind of a way to do it. However, the only drawback is for every recipe that you want to make like this, in this way, you're gonna need an interface, you're going to need a fabricator, and you're going to need an export bus. So if you want to make like a very small system that creates only 1 or 2 things, maybe that will be good. But since I'm aiming to create something that will be huge, that's not very good for me. Alright, so what we're going to do here is create the new crafting system integrated into Applied Energistics, which uses 3 new blocks that I haven't used before, actually 4 new blocks. The crafting CPU, the heat vent, the containment wall, and where is it? I think there it is. The ME pattern provider. Now those 4 blocks compose basically a multi-block structure that handles all the automatic crafting. So let's get to building it. Now that multi-block structure can be in many different sizes and shapes, but I'm gonna go for a 4x4x4 to begin with, and can expand upon it when I want to. Alright, so the edges of that multi-block has to be, where is it? The containment wall. The containment wall basically are the corners and the edges, and since I'm going for 4x4x4, that will be 12 and 12 and another 4, basically 32 blocks. So 32 blocks of containment wall, and now you'll understand why I was waiting for so much quartz, because this is going to start killing my quartz supply right now. So let's get a stack of this, a stack of iron, and a stack of gold. I'm going to need actually 2 more stacks of each to create the 32 that I'm looking for. So 32 containment wall. Now let's start placing things in the world. Actually, I did make this entire room downstairs, but for the time being I'm not actually going to use it. I'm simply going to replace the floor here. So those 4x4 tiles will be replaced by basically the top part of the crafting system, so it can be very easily accessed if I want to. And remember, it just have to be connected to a cable. Doesn't exactly matter where. Does it just have to be connected via a cable, and like everything else, it acts as a part of the network, so I can simply connect it directly to the wire that I had right here, so it makes no difference. Alright, so let's start setting it up. So the floor will be here, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, that's only the edges and the corners, it's not the sides, that's something else. And now let's go down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this, Okay, and complete this cage looking build. And let's reconnect this because it's not connected anymore. Okay, it's gonna be disconnected for a bit, but it's not such a big deal. Alright, so next up, let's create what will be the sides. So I'm gonna need 4 times 8, basically again 32, of those things, the heat vent. So the heat vent is iron bars, and ME cable. Iron bars I should have lying around somewhere. If not, I can simply create some. Let's just create some. So what would I need again? Okay, so ME cable, iron bars, and iron ingots. So no quartz involved. That's nice. Let's get the ME cables, and I'm going to need some more ME cables. So quartz dust, redstone, and glass. Okay. And that process that I'm starting to do right now is, you can understand those processes, those repeatable processes that I keep creating the same type of material. Those are the things that I'm going to try and start avoiding from now on, since I have automatic crafting, and you'll eventually understand why. Let's get a little bit more redstone and store the rest of this glass in here. Alright, so let's get 32 of those heat vents. So I'm gonna need 2 stacks of this, and the iron that I have should be enough. So this gives me the ME heat vent. Let's place the blocks in the world. I'm gonna leave the top empty for now because I'm gonna need to fill up the insides, so it's gonna be left empty for a second. Just be filled up last. I think I miscalculated and made a little bit too much. Yep, I made a spare of 8. Yeah, I should have calculated 8 times 6, not 8 times... Yeah, okay. Never mind. So I'm gonna have spare of some heat vents whenever I want to expand. Alright, so the center, you have 2 choices basically. You can either go for the crafting CPU, which determines the speed of which the crafting system crafts, or you can go for pattern provider, which determines how much storage for patterns you can have. Each pattern provider will basically give you a page of, I think, 6 by 6 patterns. So it's quite a bit, but it gets filled up really fast. Now in terms of speed, at the moment I'm not really worried about that, so I'm gonna go for 3 and 5. I have a hollow space of 8 blocks, so I'm gonna go for 3 crafting CPUs and 5 pattern providers. So for the crafting CPUs, I'm going to need 2 quartz and glowstone and an ME advanced thingy. I think I have that. So glowstone, 3 of those, and I think I have everything that I need. Okay, so 3 crafting CPUs. Let's just put them on the bottom arbitrarily, and 5 pattern providers, which you can see are a little bit pricey. So I'm going to need more advanced processors, no doubt about that. So let's get whatever I need. Let me prepare all the materials and I'll be right back. Okay, so created just some conversion matrices and advanced processors. That should be enough for whatever I need. So 5 pattern providers. I'm still short on this thing, so 5 of those. What am I short on? Quartz. And I'm going to need also 5 crafting benches. So let's get some wood. And let's get some more quartz. So pattern provider, 5 of those. You can do it also in the old-fashioned way. And 5 of those things. And I'm pretty much good. So 5 pattern providers. And now when I place that, so those 5 go here, it can actually, okay, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 by 6, not 6 by 6, 9 by 6. So having 5 of those gives me 9 by 6 times 5. So a large storage area for recipes. Whoops. And now it will update, it will connect, you can see it connects, and I can access everything. Those are pages that I can simply place recipes in. And those recipes are basically just the same recipes that I placed here, except that those recipes are just crafting grid recipes. So anything which is basically a crafting grid can be placed there and have no problem. I want to make sure that everything connects here. Yeah, okay, so it's connected again, no problem. Alright, so let's start having some fun with the new crafting stuff. So let's go for the most basic things. Let's create the recipe to actually create more recipes. So let's create the recipe for the ME blank pattern. The ME blank pattern requires glass, glowstone, quartz, and iron. Now iron I already have automatic supply of. Glass I created automatic supply of in the previous episode, creating the sand to glass recipe. Glowstone I do not have an automatic supply of yet, unfortunately, but there is nothing I can do really about it at the moment. And quartz an automatic supply of. So the way to do it is obviously first make one of those manually for the last time, because there is no other way. I needed quartz, glowstone, glass, and iron. So come here, obviously make the first recipe that you're going to need. There is no way to escape that. Come to the pattern encoder, set up this thing. I don't know, no, okay, so NEI doesn't help yet, I think, but it will be in the next update for Applied Energistics. You could actually do the same thing you can do with Fabricator, which is pull up the recipe and use the question mark. So it's quite unfortunate because you actually need to have the items with you to place that. Okay, so this on the bottom, glowstone on the sides, this thing, and this. There you go. That's the recipe to create ME block pattern. Encode, set it up, insert it into the ME molecular assembler chamber, and now I can pull out some more manually. So let's go for, whoops. Okay, this is annoying. Okay, let's go for one more. Begin. It will do the crafting, and now I have one more. Okay, this is kind of annoying, this fluctuation. And there you have it. So I have one more, I can do whatever I want with it. Nice. Okay, so let's create the recipes based on what I really need at the moment. So at the moment, I'm short on overclocker upgrades. And overclocker upgrades are one of the most annoying recipes that I really hate making it, because it requires you to start building things with stackable items, which personally I just hate. I just hate doing that. That process of doing that is, I don't know, I really have a problem with that. So let's create that recipe so everything can be handled within the Applied Energistics system and I don't have to be a part of it. So let's see. So for an overclocker upgrade, I'm going to need I'm going to need copper cables, I'm going to need electronic circuits, and then I'm going to need coolant cells. Now electronic circuits and copper cables I could probably steal from my HV solar array factory. I'm thinking on how exactly to do that, because it's already automatically crafted there, so there is no reason not to use it. And I'm going to need to take care of 10K coolant cells, which are basically the main problem really. You know what, let's take care of each problem at a time. So let's begin with the coolant cells. So creating coolant cells requires crafting on a grid with basically any type of water, so either a water cell, a water can, whatever, and 4 tin ingots. And basically getting any type of those water liquids is crafting the normal one, applying it to a water block, and getting that water back. So what I'm going to do is use aluminum from Zycraft, because as far as I know there is no other use for aluminum yet, but you can craft cans with it. So why not? Let's use that recipe. So first let's create the recipe to actually create cans. And this is why I like this system a lot. This is also why I liked logistics pipes a lot, because you can take care of each part of the network. Like every part of the system can be taken care of manually, and you can basically eventually do whatever you can. So just created the recipe for cans. Let's pull a couple of cans. let's get 64 cans. Begin. And you can see that even with the 3 CPUs, crafting a stack of one thing is actually very fast. Maybe when I'll start crafting a network of things, like, for example, crafting the overclocker will be composed of crafting the cans, and also making sure that you have the cables and the chipsets, then maybe that process will be longer with only 3 CPUs. But for the time being, it's perfectly fine in my opinion. Okay. So, 64 cans. Now let's go to the next step. How can I get water within them? There are a couple of ways I'm thinking about, but I think the easiest way to probably do this would be, yeah. Okay, let's get, I'm going to need, okay, getting sidetracked here on purpose. Let's create the recipe for creating ME interfaces, because I'm going to need one now. So the recipe for an ME interface would be to create iron ingots, glass, and cables. Okay, so let's create the recipe for ME cable, which requires redstone and quartz fiber. Okay, so let's create the recipe for quartz fiber. So quartz dust, glass, and redstone, basically, to create quartz fiber. So let's get quartz dust. I'm running low on quartz here, unfortunately. Glass and redstone. And let's start printing the recipes. Let's get 5 more. Okay, the fluctuation here is going to get annoying here. I may want to do something about that. We'll see. It's kind of annoying. Okay, so let's get 10 black patterns. I'm going to start dealing with them a lot. Okay, so take them out. Let's create the recipe to create the cables. So 3 dust, 3 glass, encode, done. Insert it in here. Okay, let's create a recipe. Let's get some. I'm going to need just one basically. And take it out, please. That will be a good idea. Oh, I cannot create one. I need to create 4 at least. Actually, let's create 3 because it has a backlog. No, okay, I can't. I only can create 4. Or not. 4 quartz fiber with 6 glass and 3 quartz dust. Oh wait, all my quartz dust is out of here. There we go. So let's create 4. Begin. Okay, so now I have 4 quartz fiber. Let's create the recipe for some ME cables. So place 2 of those here, this 2 here, the pattern here, and encode. So now I have the recipe for ME cables. The other part that I'm missing is the conversion matrix, which requires an ME basic processor and a redstone and iron ingots. And basically, the ME basic processor is something that I don't have yet of. So let's take care of that. This is why I like this automatic system so much, because you can take care of each part on its own. Alright, so I'm going to start. Okay. Let's set up the recipe for an ME quartz knife. I'm going to need some sticks and some wood. And some iron as well. So do this, this, and where's my quartz? Oh, the recipe is gone. Yeah, I think those kind of things, those changes are fixed in the newest version, which are not yet updated in the Darov 20 pack. Those kind of things, like leaving the recipe open, leaving it, those kind of things are fixed already, but yeah. Okay, so let's have this. Oh, nice, if you press shift you can actually see the actual recipe. This is useful actually. Okay, now with this, let's create the recipe to make these guys. So with the quartz knife, the quartz cutting knife, and some gold, and redstone, and silicon, which I also should create the recipe for silicon as well, so let's do that. So one of those things, I need some sand, this thing, not sand, 1 quartz dust will give you 1 silicon in code, and take that thing over here. Alright, so now that I have that taken care of, I can make the recipe that if I have a cutting knife, I don't know how durability will work. I hope it won't have any issues whatsoever. I really hope. Let's do it without a durability item. Let's create one more cutting knife and do it without durability, in case it will have some issues. Okay, let's go for craft only. One cutting knife. Why doesn't it make it? Oh, there is no sticks in the system. Yeah, okay, I'm going to take care of sticks as well. And I'm also going to need to make my storage area a lot larger. A lot larger. Okay, so I can code the recipe for creating those things. So this in the sides, this in here, and silicon in the bottom gives me the basic processor assembly. Let's place this in here. And let's check if that works. So if I have a durability quartz knife, if I try and craft an ME basic processor, it doesn't work. And if I have something without durability, again, I'm thinking about another solution. Oh wait, I got it. Did I get it with the durability knife or without the durability knife? Yeah, only the moment... Oh no, I get it without durability knife. Oh, it's cooking the silicon. Okay, so that's fine. So it's working with the durability knife as well, so that's pretty good. The storage of different durability items is a little bit annoying. I think that's also something taken care of in the new versions. I'm really eager to get the new version then. Alright, so let's also set up the recipe that cooking a basic processor gives you this thing, basically. So let's do this. Alright, so what am I missing? I have this. Alright, so let's set up the recipe for this. So iron, iron, redstone, quartz, and the ME basic processor. So this thing, redstone, quartz, and iron gives you the conversion matrix. Place that inside here, and now I can make the ME interface actually. Do I have any more of those conversion matrices? No, let's just create one. Yeah, now it goes through the process of making the silicon, cooking it, cooking this thing, cooking everything, and then you get a conversion matrix. So you have this kind of a chain of events that gives you whatever you need. It will be sped up the moment I have a lot more overclockers here, because this is what's slowing it down right now. It relies on having this and this two things, and having only two overclockers make things slow. So it will be fixed, but for the time being it's not. Let's get some cables. So cable here, this conversion matrix here, glass in here, and iron in the sides. Gives me the ME interface. Nice. Let's place that in the system and get over the night. Alright, so I have the recipe for the ME interface done. Let's actually craft one. I think I just crafted silicon by accident. Yep, I did. So let's craft the interface. Begin. And let this craft, it's going to take a little bit, of course, but it's going to be done. There we go. And now let's work on getting the recipe done for the import bus. So for the import bus, I already have the recipe for the cables done, this done. The iron ingots are automatically, and sticky piston is the only thing that I don't have automatic. So the sticky piston is going to require a slime ball and a piston. Now for the slime ball, I could actually use propolis and pollen to craft it in case I'm missing any. Or that's it pretty much, that's the only way. And again, I really want to connect my bee products as well to the system. I want to connect everything to the system, but I can't do that yet because I don't have enough storage. If I try to connect it right now, it's going to overload my storage and it's going to be bad. at the moment I'm just limited by the fact that I don't have enough quartz crystals to be able to connect everything together, so that's the only issue. Let's just place all the ones that I have right now. It will be good enough. So place them in here. I'm going to need to connect my wood supply as well, I think. Or you know what, for the time being, let's not. Also wanted to connect my lime chest, which has all this wood here, also connected to the network, but I can't do that either as well at the moment. Yeah, I'm kind of limited by the fact that I don't have enough enough quartz crystals. Okay, let's make the recipe for pistons. So cobblestone in the sides, iron ingot in the middle, redstone in the bottom, and birchwood in here. 1 ME black pattern, encode. Let's also encode the same recipe. Basically just encode also the recipe for sticky pistons. So let's get one of those pistons. Actually, let's start moving pistons into that storage area. So all the pistons that I have should be stored in here. Let's leave one on me so I can deal with it. And let's get one of those slime balls. Let's start also crafting more blank patterns. So 10 more, please. So 1 slime ball, 1 piston, and the black pattern gives me the sticky piston recipe. And I should now be able to create the recipe for the import bus. Yep, I can. So I'm going to need a cable, an interface, a piston, and some iron. So let's just manually create each of those. So this thing, cables I have on me, the M interface I made previously, and iron I already have. So this, and this. Whoops, gives me the recipe for the import bus. Nice. Now I don't have the cables on me. Not the cables, but these things. The blank patterns. So this, and now again. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Encode. Import bus. Nice. And you can see how quickly I fill this up. It's going to be filled up very, very quickly. But yeah, at least it's taking care of itself. So nice. So in order to, again, I have ME interface, I have an import bus, and that's pretty much it. I already have the aluminum cans. Yep, the only last thing remaining to do is to fill up the cans. Now there are many different ways to do this, but I'm gonna use a trick that I've been using before in other scenarios. I'm going to need to do that. First I'm going to empty my inventory. That will be the first thing that I really need. I'm going to keep the M interface on me. The blank patterns I don't need. This I don't need. Redstone as well. I'm gonna need an ME cable on me. And I should be getting an import bus, because I'm actually gonna need that. So let's get the 3, and let's get some aluminum cans. And that should be enough for whatever I need. And I'm also going to need a deployer, which seems I'm out of. That's nice. Let me craft a couple more. And for deployers at the moment I'm not gonna deal with automatic crafting, not yet at least. I'm gonna just crafting manually. So be right back. Alright, so I got myself a deployer. I'm going to need 2 buckets of water. I got exactly 2 buckets here. Let's fill them up from right here. So 1 and 2. And I'm gonna need a timer. And I think that's pretty much everything that I need. Yep, that's everything that I need. Alright, so I'm gonna use this room after all, at least now. So let's set up the system to do this. I'm also going to need some cables, but okay, they're gonna have to wait for now. So let's set up the thing to look like this. So these 3 will be hollow. Right here I'm gonna have a deployer with a timer right here. Those will be 2 water source blocks, basically leading into the middle being an infinite water source. So that deploying into this will be working all the time. I'm going to need the ME interface here, and I'm also going to need an ME cable. And I'm also going to need to set up a recipe that tells that when you give me an empty aluminum can, I'm going to give you back a filled up aluminum can. So just made one, and let's create a recipe. I also need one of those blank patterns. Where was it? Okay, so one black pattern. If you give me an empty aluminum can, I'm going to give you back a filled up aluminum can. Encode that. And I'm going to need some cables. I got everything I need basically. So let's do like this. This will be the export bus or the import bus. It will be importing into the system. This will be importing only water cans, not everything, only water cans. Because if it's going to be importing everything, it can actually accidentally import empty cans, and it's going to have a problem with looping and everything. So if you give me an empty can, I'll give you back an empty water can. And how that entire logic works is just like this. There we go, completed. So let me explain what's going on here. So the timer here is always ticking. We can change that once every second. So every 1 second the deployer is trying to do something. It's obviously most of the time not going to do anything, but the system now thinks, the system now knows that it can craft water cans, and the way to do it is by sending an empty can into this ME interface. That ME interface will look for a deployer. That deployer will make that empty can into a water can, and then the import will import them back into the system. And let's see that in action. I have 64 cans at the moment, and I can now craft, if this stops doing this, I can now craft, let's craft 10 water cans. You'll be able to see now that I have cans. Now it's limited by the fact that the deployer is doing the cycles only once every second. So this is why it will be a little bit slowed down. I could change that by either using a different machine like a bucket filler or whatever, everything else. But I don't think it's really necessary. At least not yet. It's fine as is, so there is no problem whatsoever with it, in my opinion. And there you have it, automatic water cell crafting available. Alright, so I noticed that the episode length is pretty good. I'm going to continue with creating the overclockers in the next episode, hopefully finishing it, and also in the meantime I'll be able to come up with a way to actually transfer copper cables and electronic circuits back into this world somehow, some way, in a way that will not destroy my automatic HV solar crafting. Alright, so as always, thank you guys for watching. See you guys next time.